I teach African American literature, American literature, and women's literature as well. And I'm here today to talk about Will Allen's book, The Good Food Revolution. I always teach W.E.B. DuBois and Booker T. Washington in my classes, and so it was interesting to pick up The Good Food Revolution and to read somebody distill these two great thinkers in 2 pages. He's able to talk about Booker T. Washington as emphasizing that African Americans, newly freed slaves, should use their hands, should engage themselves in practical ways, shouldn't be aspiring too high, and should be working with the earth. And he's able to talk about that and situate that in terms of food. W.E.B. Du Bois representing aspiring higher, using your mind, advancing into positions like being a politician or a lawyer or a doctor. And so putting those two against each other and showing how currently we have this sort of emphasis on education but a distance from food and sustainability is sort of an echo of these 2 big historical figures who had an argument over how best to proceed after freedom. What's interesting about the way Will Allen talks about Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois is that he says that W.E.B. Du Bois won the argument. And I think he's basing that idea on the fact that many blacks migrated, the Great Migration, leading to many blacks settling in the northern states. And in that sense, I'm not sure that he's incorrect. W.E.B. Du Bois did win because now we have many, many figures in African American culture who are leaders, thinkers, philosophers, doctors, lawyers, presidents. There are many black communities who still sustain themselves through agricultural means, and they don't view that as something that's going backwards or staying still. So in a way, representing Booker T. Washington as though he is the loser of an argument ignores the fact that people still sustain themselves by way of agricultural means. Families have gardens, families enjoy being in the South, they enjoy the weather that's conducive to growing things. I think it's interesting the way he is able to distill this argument between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. I think the fact that Will Allen says that W.E.B. Du Bois won ultimately supports his theory that all American families need to go back to agriculture, need to go back to using their hands, need to go back to producing sustainable, organic foods. So he sees that we buy things in the supermarket. He sees that we're very well able to use our minds to go to school, but we're not able to grow our own food. We're not able to raise ourselves in healthy and sustainable ways. We're not capable of knowing the best food choices. I was fascinated by Will Allen's ability to talk about the struggle within the black community over good food, how to attain it, how to grow it. He talked a lot about intra-racial politics, the way African American communities discriminate against themselves. I thought that he had an easy way of talking about these things that are actually very difficult in our community. I think that he made it clear for others to see that oppressed groups have struggles within their own ranks, within their own levels. I do think that the common reading selection this year is excellent, and I think it indicates an interesting coming together of Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Our students are in college, they're seeking higher education, they're seeking the ability to expand their minds, to engage in the life of the mind. And with this book, they're also learning something about how to feed themselves and how to feed the earth, and how to do both in a sustainable, healthy, and radical way.